Good evening, friends. I am Bikramaditya Ghosh. I am a 2009 graduate from one of the national law universities. I have appeared in civil service main examination in 2015 and 2017 with law as my optional subject. In 2017, I had scored 286, which was a substantial improvement from 2015 and 16 when I had struggled to even cross the 220 mark. Now, this video is one of our first videos where we want to share with our fellow friends who are appearing for the civil service examinations or who are contemplating to appear in civil service examination in the coming days. Now, this is all about why law as a subject should be considered as one of the best bet for selecting it as an optional subject in the civil service examinations. Now, this is one of our initial initiatives. You will have a few more videos, many more videos on various topics of law optional and lectures on subjects and all. You can follow our website or YouTube channel, etc. We'll see the reference of all those in a short while. Now, today we will be discussing why law as a subject is one of the best options to choose it as an optional subject. Now, first of all, I would like to say that law as a subject, how one should go about it. Now, whoever you are already appearing for the civil service examination, you already have chosen a subject. You are into the subject, into the preparation for a few years now. Many of you who are with law, I don't know, you must not be contemplating to shift from law to other subjects or vice versa. Now, this video is more helpful for those who are now contemplating to appear for the examination in 2021, 22 and onwards. Now, first of all, I have collated some statistics about law, you can see, which testifies that law as a subject ensures one of the highest success rates. Now, this is compiled from the UPSC annual reports, which you can also have in the website of UPSC. You can open it, upsc.gov.in, as you all know, and see the statistics. Now, you can see in 2013 it was around 24.3%, thereafter 17%, 15 it had been 16.7, 2016 has been an exception. However, 2017 again a very decent success rate. Now, you can see that this percentage, if you compare it with other subjects, I don't think many other subjects are faring as well as law has been doing, and that also in a consistent manner. So this prima facie is sufficient to convince someone that yes, one can think of law. Now, maybe this is also another reason why many now students who are appearing or qualifying the civil service examinations, having rank within the top 100, they are also choosing law as their optional, even though their background is not from law or they don't have a graduation degree in law. So irrespective of the graduation subject, now you can see many students who are appearing, who are in fact qualifying the civil service examination, they have opted for law. Glaring examples you can see in 2018 itself, some of them in the top 10 even, they have opted law and came up with flying colors. So why is it that law is a safe bet? Why is it that law is a scoring subject? Why is it that above other subjects you should think about choosing law? Now, it goes without saying that a person with a law background tends to, or you can say he or she is more inclined towards having law as an optional. That is of course an area of strength for them, but I would also suggest students from other backgrounds also who don't have a law graduation or who don't have any idea about law as a subject, they should also now sit down and think that why not to consider law as a optional subject, optional paper in UPSC examinations. Now, the first advantage of law is that it has a very well-defined syllabus. Now, this is very important so far as UPSC examination is concerned. I tell you because this is a lengthy process. Now one has to stick to the examination process for maybe 2 to 5 years. Few of us who have been lucky, in the first attempt you can get through, but no one knows. So a well-defined syllabus, something which is objective, something which is precise, something which is which you can comprehend as a subject. It's important that one should always look at it, how the syllabus is all about. Now I have just provided the name of the subjects which are there in our law optional syllabus. You can see first of all the paper 1. It consists of constitutional law, and the one part of it is administrative law, both of which are very interesting subjects and always helpful when you are appearing for civil service examinations, even otherwise while preparing for general studies. The second part of the paper 1 is international law. Once again, very interesting subject. It also helps greatly in your general studies preparation. The second paper is law of crimes, that is the Indian Penal Code, the substantive law regarding crimes. We have torts, then we have contracts, few mercantile laws, that is we have law of agency, law of partnership, and then the Negotiable Instruments Act, few of them. So then we have this contemporary legal developments, including topics like public interest litigation, media trial, then we have arbitration, and also few more like environmental laws, so on and so forth. Now, as a whole, if you can see, it's a very well-defined syllabus. Well-defined syllabus in the sense that there are not many vague areas in it. The subjects are well-defined, the portions are well-defined, and most importantly, if you go through the last 20 or 25 years question papers, you will find that there have been particular areas from where questions have been asked. So it's quite easy in that sense to approach law in comparison to other subjects. Now, secondly, I'll say what are the specific advantages that one may expect. Now, first of all, it's the overlap with other areas. This is one of the key benefits that law offers, unlike any other subject. Say you say physics, you take chemistry, you take mathematics, you take economics. Now, some portion of it is of course helpful so far as your general studies is concerned, but overall, if you see, I don't think there are any other subject, in fact, in the optional course which can be as useful as law can be to you. Now, so far as essay is concerned, if you are thorough with the law syllabus, with the contemporary legal developments, etc., the constitutional law, etc., it's very useful in your essay topic. Any essay which touches upon issue which has a political angle, you can always connect it with the constitution, you can connect it with other laws, and any topic which you attempt in your essay paper, if you can connect it with laws, regulations, etc., it always carries a very good impression before the examiner. So law gives you a holistic overview about each and every subject. You can always bring in a new angle to any subject or any topic that you attempt. Now, general studies 2, as you know, it's more about polity and international relations. So in this paper, the entire polity part can be very well taken care of by studying the law paper. The constitutional law syllabus that we have entirely covers the GS2 paper, many topics in GS2 paper very comprehensively, and the current affairs, the dynamic part of general studies 2, which we study from the newspapers and all. If you have law as your background, it comes very handy here also. General studies 3, we have many topics. You have disaster management, we have environment. In each of those, we have law as a essential part of those topics. In fact, in the contemporary law, contemporary legal developments module, as I have shown you, environmental law is one part of it. So if you study here the environmental law part, the laws and regulations, you can very well use it in your GS3 answers. Now GS4 also to a great extent requires a basic understanding of law. While you approach a question, I say for ethics, any topic that we have in our ethics paper, or you write a case study, you write anything under the GS4 topic, an understanding of law is very important. Now, so far as law of crimes is concerned, IPC, which is a part of this paper 2 of law, we have this Prevention of Corruption Act. We will get a very wonderful understanding of this act, which always comes handy when you study general studies 4 ethics. You write case studies, this comes handy. Other than this, we have administrative law, as I have shown in the first paper itself. So insofar as administrative law is concerned, same. You can very well connect administrative law with your GS4 paper, like principles of natural justice, delegated legislations, how a departmental proceeding should go on, how you can ensure that the principles of natural justice are followed. So you can always add up something from your knowledge of law, which always gives a very good impression to the examiner. So you can see this entire course, entire general studies portion that you have has a very close connection with law, which makes law, to my mind, a very attractive subject to study. Now, another thing, if you have already seen the syllabus. The UPSC syllabus only contains the basic laws which are there: the Constitution, the administrative law, the international law, the contract, etc. Now, the complicated laws, like you say, the taxation, the foreign exchange management laws, those things have not been included in the syllabus. So it's only the basic laws which even a layman can study and understand with quite easily. The third point is interaction with current affairs. I did not elaborate on this. You can understand that any bill that comes up, any act that comes in, anything happens in the our foreign affairs part, you read a news, you connect it with international law. We have seen the surgical strike and all. We have questions on that in the law paper itself. So anything that happens in the political arena or in the international domain, law has a very close connection. So your study of law can always help you to appreciate the topics of general studies or current affairs in a different way. You can always add something extra which other candidates may not be able to. Now, these are the practical advantages that we have in law. Now, the first of all, I would say it's a very scoring paper. If you strategically approach the paper, if you study the entire syllabus objectively with a proper plan in mind, it can be a very scoring paper. We have seen these days students scoring above 300 with a very sound strategy. That's quite possible. Anything around 280 plus, I think it's quite achievable if you're a little bit sincere and you have the intention to do it. At least I would suggest at least 4 revisions of the entire syllabus is what is required to take you from 280 plus to around, say, I would also say around 310 or 315 range. That's quite achievable. Now, the second practical advantage is predictable questions. If you study the law question paper, say you take up the 2019 question paper, you take up the 2018 question paper, and then you have a look at 20 years question paper, which are the questions which has been asked in the last 20 years, say from 2000 to 2017, you will find that at least 60 to 65% questions are somehow directly or indirectly same with that has been asked in the last 20 years. So 60 to 65 questions you will find that maybe the language has been little tweaked by the examiner, who the paper setters, or in fact maybe a direct question or anything. You can relate at least 60 to 65% questions quite easily. Now the remaining 30 to 35% also you will be very you can very easily answer it if you study the questions which have been asked in the last 20 years directly or indirectly. It will cover the entire paper, leaving apart a few tricky questions here and there, which always happens with any subject, any paper, any time that happens. So leaving that apart, by and large, I would say that law is one of the most predictable subject so far as questions are concerned. Now this as I have already highlighted, repetition of previous year's questions, this is very common in law. It happens to a large extent. This is one of the great practical advantages of having law as an optional paper. Now, as I have said, that the laws which are included, those are the basic laws. Layman can understand in a very easy way by way of applying a little bit of common sense and sincerity. So I won't say it's a very technical subject or something which requires a great sense of brain or intelligence. It's not so. Even a person with a very average IQ, you can expect him to get into law and cover the syllabus, at least the first reading, within 4 to 6 months. So that is one of the best advantages that law have. It's a well-defined syllabus. You can cover it within 4 to 6 months with quite conveniently. Now, having talked about the advantages, it would be unfair if I don't discuss the disadvantages also. Now, the first disadvantage which a non-law student can face is understanding the legal terms. There are a lot of Latin terms you will get, a few legal maxims. These things might sound little uncommon, but it's few of them, not to a very large extent. So one can always study and cover this aspect if he or she so intends to. The second challenge with law can be memorization of case laws and provisions. Now if you aim at a mark something in the range of 280 to 320, it's imperative, particularly in the papers like constitution, in international law, the examiner would expect you to write case laws, the precedents. So while studying polity, you have seen in Lakshmikant's book, I understand that many of you must be referring to it, or any other books on polity, you will see case laws have been referred for many important topics. Now, memorizing case laws is one of the key challenges in the law paper. So if you want to score high, you have to memorize them. And provisions, the sections, this is particularly important in paper 2. Questions are asked, quite straightforward questions from IPC, from contract, from agency, law of agency. So the examiner will expect you to write the sections of the particular act. If you can memorize and reproduce the sections well in second paper, in paper 2, it's very easy to take your marks above 60%. That has been our experience. Now, another difficulty is fragmented availability of materials in the market. Now, in our times, we as a team, we were 4 candidates who were preparing together, each one of us with law optional. 2 of them are already in the services now. So what we had felt that law is one of the most neglected subject also, so far as UPSC is concerned. Since around on an average 300 to 350 or maybe 250, this is the range number of students that appear in the mains examination. So maybe there are other reasons also, but somehow law is a very neglected subject in terms of coaching is concerned. So fragmented materials in the sense that we have not been able to lay our hands on one set of materials which we can study in its entirety and cover the entire syllabus. For each topic we had to refer to different books, different notes, different websites. That was quite a hectic task, because by the time you collect and consolidate your materials for all the topics that you have, it's a time-taking process. So this is in fact a comparative disadvantage so far as other optional papers are concerned. Today in the market, if you see geography, if you see political science, if you see sociology, plenty of materials in the market, plenty of institutes running courses, answer writings, tests. But when it comes to law, in spite of the fact that it's one of the most scoring paper, in spite of the fact that this is one of the subjects with a high success rate, perhaps the highest among all the subjects, if you see for the past 7-8 years, still the materials which you get or you lay hands on are fragmented. You won't get the entire thing in one place. This is one disadvantage. The fourth is, of course, yes, what I have been saying, well-structured coaching, guidance and test series. Now, someone might also tell you that, law is something which you can do in a self-study mode. But I tell you, sometimes it gets difficult. If you compare yourself with a student of, say, geography, so far as geography is concerned, there are, I don't know how many kinds of materials, how many institutes, this ma'am, that sir, everyone has their set of materials. You pick any one of them, study it in its entirety, you are done with the syllabus. So this is an advantage, because civil service examination, the more you revise, the more you write answers, the more you practice, you become a more potent candidate to crack it. So when a geography student, if he or she covers up the entire syllabus, at least the first reading in 3 to 4 months, a law student will take at least 5 to 6 months to collect and prepare his or her notes. So here you come to a comparative disadvantage vis-a-vis the other students. Now, if you take 5 to 6 months at least for your first reading to prepare your notes, to collate your materials, to make a list of case laws that you need to remember for each topic, you are already 2 to 3 months behind than a geography or a sociology or a political science student. So these are the disadvantages that that a law student can face while going into the preparation process. Now, having understood all these things, we as a team, we who had appeared in law, in spite of all difficulties, we took our scores in the 280 plus range. We thought that why not to come up with an initiative so that even say 100 or 150 students, those who appear in the civil service mains examination, you know, why not to come up with something which helps the law students? Structured system of, you know, coaching, or you can say it as a mode of guidance. That's when we contemplated to create a platform for law optional students who are already studying law, who will be appearing in 2021, 2022, or who are expecting to do well in the prelims examination in 2020 itself, who are planning to go ahead with law in the mains examination. So we have thought of creating a platform for this particular subject. So then that's when we contemplated this an online platform, upsclawoptional.in. Now you can have a look at the website, and this is an exclusively dedicated platform which has been provided for the law optional students, particularly in the civil service examinations only, because we understand that so far as judicial services examinations are concerned, the approach of law is entirely different. You write an answer in the judicial service examination, you get wonderful marks. You try to write the same kind of answer in UPSC law paper, you will fail. Because of the reason is the limited time, the different requirements of the examination, the different approach that a law student is expected to have in the civil service. While cracking judicial service, you become a judge, you are expected to be an expert in the field of law. In civil service examination, you are expected to be a master of administration. So that's how the basic difference is. Now, how we have tried to help the students in UPSC law optional. Now, first is consolidated notes. We have seen that the difficulty in collecting and collating the material is one of the harshest, the difficulty a student can face. From my experience, I can tell you, in 2015, when I appeared in the mains examination, in spite of trying my best, I could only prepare good notes or notes worth the name for maybe 40% of the syllabus. 60% of the syllabus I had just read it from a textbook or something, and I straight away went to write the examination, and I scored something around 221 or 223. I don't remember very correctly now. So preparing of consolidated notes which will cover the entire syllabus is one of the difficulties that we have. So we have tried to help on that. So we have a particular kind of notes that we have prepared exclusively for the civil service examinations, which to our understanding are easy to understand and easier to memorize. Now I will remind you once more that the UPSC is not expecting you to be a PhD in law. They are expecting you to write a decent, beautiful answer. That's it. What has been asked in the question, what the law says, and what you understand about the topic. So we, keeping those requirements in mind, we have prepared the notes, which we believe would be very helpful to the students. Now, second is, as I have said, memorization of case laws, those provisions is one of the toughest challenge for a law student. Now you have to study general studies, you have to study essay paper, you have to prepare for ethics. So if you can do something which helps you to memorize case laws and provisions in a easier way, I think that can be a good idea. So in law optional, UPSC law optional.in notes, you will get this in a beautiful way. We have mind maps for you to get an entire overview of a topic. For case laws, we have different kind of mind maps. For revision, we have different kind of mind maps. So we have tried all of those strategies in in close interface with one another, so that any student, according to his or her preference, you can see what works for you. If a graphical thing works for you, we have that. If you want diagrams, you will get that, if that helps you in remembering the course. If you think that mind maps are the best way you can memorize provisions and cases, we have that. Now another advantage is that each one of us who have participated in this entire process, we all have prepared as a team, and each one of us, we have written civil service examinations with law. So it was our experience for 3 to 4 years which we have used to to cure or to plug the difficulties or shortcomings that students who are appearing in this examination in future or in the coming days that they may face. We have tried to plug those. Now for each topic we have also prepared effective video lectures. However, we will suggest that those video lectures can be used only for supplementary purposes, to supplement the note, the contents that you get in the notes. Then along with the notes you have a look at the video lectures, you have you hear it with a earphone on your ear. It will make easier for you to understand the notes and the concept. Now apart from that, we have also formulated a super effective test series, because so far as law is concerned, absence of a proper answer writing mechanism or a answer writing course is something which creates a lot of disadvantage. You take geography, you take sociology, you take political science, every subject, you will see that there are many institutes, many coaching centers, those who are running test series, and some of them are in fact wonderful, because those are the subjects which students in many numbers, in huge numbers, they are taking those subjects. So you all have, you see that for those subjects there are test series available in the market, but so far as law is concerned, to some extent that is lacking. So we have formulated two kinds of test series. You can have a look at our website and see what suits you, if at all it suits you at the first place. Now apart from that, a test series will be of no use if we don't do a rigorous evaluation with what you have written. Now in so far as civil service examination is concerned, our experience says that your entire process of studying or doing the hard work for 2 to 3 years, or throughout the year, the hard work that you put in, the whole thing goes to waste if you cannot write a beautiful answer. Now what do I mean by beautiful answer? Beautiful answer means it first addresses the question that has been asked, it has a proper structure, and it has all the elements that one can think of which touches on the question. It can be for law, it can be the sections, it can be case laws, and of course a well thought conclusion. Now the writing a beautiful answer, take it from me, take it for granted, take it for sure, that writing a beautiful answer is a process. You cannot develop the skill of writing a beautiful answer in 1 or 2 months. It does not happen, cannot happen. It is a process until and unless you are a exceptionally brilliant candidate. For most of us like me, it has been a process. In 2015 I scored around 221 to 223, which went up to 286 in 2017. So in this process, I had written at least maybe 10 to 12 tests, full length tests before the mains examination in 2017, and I understood that after writing each and every test, once that was evaluated by someone who understands the requirements of the civil service examination, the next time when I wrote an answer, it was a much better answer. At least there was improvement, 5% to 10% improvement in my writing skill. So we have thought of that and strategized mechanism which not only gives you a test series but also ensures that your answers are rigorously evaluated and you get individual feedback and interactive guidance, so that you can actually improve yourself. Until and unless you improve yourself, it does not serve any purpose, in spite of the fact that you might spend thousands and thousands of rupees in buying test series. So the last thing is that many a times we felt that how about it that if someone who has written law, who has scored decent marks in law, if we can get in touch with someone who will guide us कि भाई क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना है, कैसे करना है, कौन सा ज़्यादा करना है, कौन सा कम करना है. So thinking about that, we have also introduced a system of individual mentorship at UPSC Law Optional. Anyone who is appearing or subscribing to the courses that we offer, each one of you will have a individual mentor who will be your friend, philosopher and guide throughout the entire process. Sometimes we feel bogged down, sometimes we feel demotivated, sometimes it becomes boring, sometimes we don't know what to do, kahin phas gaye, kya kare samajh mein nahi aa raha hai. So it leads to wastage of time and energy. So why not to have a mentor? You can speak to him at any time. If you feel something is not going wrong, you speak to him for 5-10 minutes, you get your doubts clarified, you discuss with him your strategy, this is how you are doing. So this is basically to have a interactive mode. We can interact with the students. Merely dropping on your head the notes, the test series, the answers won't help until and unless we actually help you in taking you through the entire process and see you in the final list. So that's the objective with which we have devised this platform. You can have a look at it, and feedbacks and suggestions are all